The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. Tony V is not here.
Well, clearly he is a celebrity.
He's a celebrity
Bigger
now.
than we ever
We're
thought he
telling
was.
Kim Carpentier, our guest today, on what Tony V's got going on. He's probably one of our first friends who was ever on a Super Bowl ad.
Right.
Whoa.
And I am so sad that they didn't ask us because, listen, I have the best Boston. Oh, you have probably the best Boston accent of anybody.
I know. I was wondering why we didn't get the call.
I know,
on that.
but I say you just park the car and have it yard, and it's very natural
Richard
and normal.
Carter from Arlington.
I don't know why your mother named you Richard Mark
Richard Carter. Well, they didn't know it was an accent then either. You got to know that.
I know.
They never made it out of Arlington or Cambridge.
So I think that everyone but Tony was struggling with the accent, the awesome and the wicked. And
Wicked Parker.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Tony had a problem.
no.
Yeah, but his is the only one sound normal. We have Gary in the audience. I don't know if you can
Hey,
see Gary.
Gary.
Toughest guy I know. He's put an ace bandage on his leg. Just had major surgery. And now is an
Oh, it's
ace.
ice. It's
Oh, okay,
ice.
all right.
Bring
all right.
that
That makes
swelling
more
down.
sense. All right.
Yeah.
You just had some surgery too.
Yeah, you got a new hip installed.
You did.
16 weeks ago. Perfect.
Yeah, good
Wow.
for you. Feels good?
Are you starting to dance around?
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff?
like a couple more weeks to that working out again. So
That's
it's good.
awesome.
you.
So
Good
I
for
have
you.
a trainer at my gym that had hip replacement 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
She is back to the gym, buzzing around like this. Like she's younger,
Yeah.
like she's in
Yeah.
her 40s.
Mhm.
I said, "You're amazing."
Yeah.
I would be on the couch
Are you
still
kidding me?
crying. I am so in pain. I cannot work.
No. I think you're pretty tough too. Can we tell you a Kathy Holtshouser story while we're talking about how tough she is?
Sure. How tough is she?
Oh boy, I dealt with this attorney about six months ago. Nice guy, full head of hair.
He was nice. Till he wasn't.
Till we dealt with him yesterday, and Kathy gave him a little bit of a spanking.
Oh, really?
And not
for?
in a good way. And so I saw him today. He was completely white, lost his hair, and I'm not making this up.
And he
All his
eventually.
blood was drained out of his face. I go, oh my God, you must have talked to Kathy.
And he showed up with what?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was looking
Kathy
for.
just only
There you
requested the deed, and she wanted the deed a certain way, called land court. You know how land court is, and made some changes, and he was kind of fighting back a little bit.
And I called him a week before, and he said, yeah. Just send me exactly what you need, and I'll take care of it, quote unquote. So me and him, both being professionals, thought that I'm
gonna
going
be
to
taken
send
care of.
him what he
Right,
needs,
right,
and
right,
he's
right.
going to do what I told him to do. Well, yesterday when he sent it back over, it wasn't done right.
He came in today. See how white this is? He was whiter. Oh, yeah. It was drained there. So we got a lot to talk about. You're
whatever.
You're like a credit repair analyst, but I think we got to take it one step further. Now you're in the mortgage world.
We're in the mortgage world.
So
I jumped to the dark side.
You took to the dark side.
But the thing is, you need credit for everything.
absolutely.
You need it to buy a
Right.
car. You need it to get
Right.
furniture. You need
Right.
it for a credit card. You need it to buy a house. Like so, credit. I think everybody's. It's on
Absolutely.
their mind.
Everybody's
Absolutely.
got the questions.
Yeah. Right,
Everybody's got the
absolutely.
questions.
Yeah, so we got a
Credit
whole
affects
bunch.
We used to talk about that one where the guy was buying I think a $250,000 million yacht.
Yep.
And his credit was a little ding off on something like that. If you're shelling out,
Oh, you're hurting.
you're hurting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
talking
lot
about
of money.
hundreds of $1,000s in extra
It's a lot
credit
of-
you're going
it's
to be
a lot of
paying.
money, you
So
know?
we got to take your expertise, and now you're in the mortgage world.
Yep.
So we got to take that once. So we always give the suggestion, and I'm thinking, I'm going to talk to you today, and Kathy will say the same thing.
All right.
I'm not sure if anyone listens to this suggestion because I don't think they have enough time.
I thought you were going to say I don't think anyone listens to our podcast.
We know that's not true. Look at all the people in the audience.
yeah, no.
No, so
right here alone.
random people come up to me or email me or text
SRO.
me and say, "I saw your podcast; it's awesome."
There
So
you go.
I
Great.
think there are some people that.
Oh,
do
there's a
listen.
lot. I have a lot of attorneys coming up to me. I always say, don't judge me. We're
I
going
have
to get through this
attorneys.
deal. I have one going on right now. A nice, very professional Newton attorney, and he was starting to laugh. He goes, "You're in the real estate house." He goes, "I listen to that show all the time." So I
Yeah,
said, "Don't
I had
judge
another-
us.
Look at that.
Don't judge
Look at
us."
that.
You
Another
know.
attorney said that. Is this Kathleen? I go, it is.
But they all ask us if Tony V's doing the purchase and sales when
Right.
he's out.
Right.
So we
And
always-
yes, he is.
yes, he
Yeah.
is. So we're out here doing
He's
it.
right there with it.
So we got to give a shout out to poor Tony V. I know he's
Oh, so we're jumping around. So he has
All
a
right, so-
commercial. A Hyundai. Is it Hyundai?
yes.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
Hyundai commercial
Okay.
that's supposed to be airing in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we were
Somehow
all.
it got leaked.
Somebody
It got
leaked
leaked?
it by I don't know who leaked it, but somebody
Right.
leaked it, and
Right.
it's all over the
All over the internet.
over like Facebook and
Wow.
and it's not even from Tony V anymore. It's like everybody's like
Right.
it revolves around Boston.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they thought that the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl or what they
No,
thought.
that's a good point.
But what they're playing in Miami,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it has nothing to do with Boston. But
Well, Miami, Florida's like little Boston anyway, isn't it?
I really don't know how Tony V came up with this role. He came up. He's like a Boston neighborhood guy that just shouts
hey,
out.
you can't park there.
I don't know how he must have dug down
Yeah.
deep for that one.
That was a tough
He
one.
probably
That was
does
a
that
tough one.
out in front of his house every day.
I'm sorry they didn't have as a mechanic or as a Comcast worker or
dry cleaner.
dry cleaner. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, he
how.
was the
He really pulled out deep
he
on
was
that.
the jail guy. What do you call those? Like the warden of the jail on the Heat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my favorite movie. So
So of course it got blasted all over Facebook, and I see a lot of people chiming in. This is comparable. Your role in this was comparable to Casablanca. It was.
okay.
What, you don't think that was accurate?
Okay. No, Tony, you did a great job.
great
but
job.
Casablanca,
I
maybe
know.
not.
Maybe.
I hope he doesn't get typecast.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I
I
know.
know.
And I hope that he doesn't get so famous that he doesn't come back to Real Estate House Party.
He'll be
'cause
back.
We're,
He said he'll be
we're
back
missing
next
him.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we need you, Tony.
Right.
We need you
Gotta
to
be back.
sleep through the show.
And it's a gradual.
Yeah. No, well, it depends on what kind of mood he's in. Usually he just goes.
Do you have any Tony V lines before we get started? I have one because I did it the other day.
I have a million.
I
but
have one that
go
I haven't
ahead.
thought of in a while. I was sitting down somewhere, and that last four inches is free floating, and you finally hit the chair. Tony V. All right. So here's my question to you.
I got an answer.
All right. So when we always say you got to be prepared for the mortgage process. I'm not sure if they have time for this, but we always say you should talk to someone about credit to get ready. But do they have enough time to improve their credit when they're about to see you? They're putting in office. I don't think anyone, believe it or not, I don't think anyone's taking our advice on that. Try to get your credit in shape.
Well, you should look at your crystal ball, right? And if you know you're going to be buying a house in
Right,
2 or
but-
3 years,
But do they do
But that's
that?
what it doesn't happen. that
Okay,
way.
that's
Of
what we
course.
figured.
Doesn't
All
happen.
right.
They come,
Ed
they see a
Sullivan,
house.
strike that from
Right.
our tips of the
Right.
day.
Gone.
Gone. Don't
They-
bother with your credit. Go.
They come in
Right.
and
have no idea what
have
their
no
credit.
idea what the
Right,
credit score
right,
is. How's
right.
your credit? Although today, with the apps that you can get on the phone, plus a
Yeah,
lot of
we were
people
just
get
talking
their,
about that,
Right.
yeah.
a lot of people get their scores from their credit
their
card
credit card,
companies.
yeah.
So they'll start.
those are pretty
come in.
accurate, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was
that's
feeling
the other-
good about myself.
Well, what happens is this.
So her 612 isn't accurate.
Well, it could be. that could be accurate.
Not with her and Stu
that
Holtshouser.
could-
Yeah.
Yeah, we run a tight ship
Oh,
at our
tight
house.
ship.
Yeah.
Tight ship.
all right,
But
all
go
right.
ahead. Sorry.
No, but when FICO develops the scores, they develop a score specifically for a mortgage, for an automobile, for
Oh,
a
really?
credit
Okay.
card. So there's all different kind of scores out there.
Yeah.
So most likely, and most of the time on credit cards, they're a blended score. Okay, so if you're going for a mortgage and you got a late mortgage payment, well,
Ooh.
that's going to count more against you than if you're going for automobile.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
sense. So that's why people will say, well, I went and then my credit score is 712. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I run the numbers. The first thing I always say is, where'd you get that score? From Credit Karma. Right. Well,
Yeah.
All right,
listen,
let's start over.
now I go through the whole thing again.
Yeah.
I said,
Let's
listen,
get a real number.
that number's not the real number.
Now, when they ask Credit Karma, does it ding their credit? Does
No,
it bring?
it's,
No.
it's a consumer
All right.
site.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right.
consumer site. So I pull the credit report, and it's a 682.
So
Okay.
30.
So it could be. I could have pulled it and could have been a 756.
Right.
All right, you never know what you're going to get.
So it's kind of like it's what do we used to talk about? It was not Google, but
Oh, the Zestimates?
Zillow.
Zillow.
It's a ballpark.
It's 80%
right.
30% of the time.
I'll tell you, I had one the other day that before we did the appraisal, he's saying to me, this thing's worth $370, and I'm like, all right, good. I says, I went on Zillow and on just to get some rough idea.
Yeah.
All right, it was about a $360.
I think you hit it right. Rough idea.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right. So we start the paperwork and everything like that. I get the appraisal schedule. We schedule the appraisal. $60,000 less.
Wow.
$300,000.
Really?
Yeah.
The appraisal came back
Yeah.
$60,000 less.
And
That's
I'm
a huge amount. On a $1 million property, you could see it, but not on a $360,000.
And it was crazy.
That kills the deal, right?
Well, we had to rearrange things, but he couldn't get out of his PMI.
Right.
So, all right, let's talk about that for a second. So, someone comes in, thinks they're buying a $360,000 house. It's now worth $300,000. So, that
was a refi. So that's why.
Okay.
That's
but
why
in a purchase situation, so that borrower would now you're going to loan on the lesser amount,
right?
So it'd be 80% on that $300,000.
Yeah, and most of the times when you go through a realtor, the realtor nails it pretty close.
Because I was going to say, how could they be that far
most of the time they're within, they're within 5,000.
I mean, they don't do an appraisal,
whatever.
but they're so used to the market that they're working in that they can come up with a really good market value for the house.
On a purchase, most of the time it'll come in. It'll come
all right.
in
Within $5,000, right? Yeah.
What are you seeing lately? Appraisals coming in, or
they're coming in good.
Other than that one,
No, they can. Regular appraisals are coming in good on purchases.
Right.
And I had another one it's closing next week. That his thought process in Zillow was 225, and we did our appraisal was 272.
Oh, so it works. It's not. Consistent.
It works either way.
Yeah.
It can work
I'd
either
like
way.
to talk to appraisals sometime because they always seem to come in exactly what the purchase and sale price is.
Well,
okay, all right. Enough said.
Let's not even get it.
Somebody, all right. We're not going to get into that.
Enough said.
I'm happy though.
So Kim, I'm coming to you for a mortgage, right? Do you have like a cutoff? Like when someone says, "Oh, I have good credit," like what is good credit? Like
anything over 720.
Anything over 720.
Now you can get a mortgage all the way down to 580, right?
Well, of course, but you're going to get a higher interest rate.
You're going to get higher PMI.
So is that same rate over 720, or is there increments to that too?
What do you mean?
Like 720 and over. Like, is there any better?
720, 760. I mean, you're going to get a little better rate if you're 760.
So it would be beneficial to the people that are listening to always keep an eye on your credit score and work to get it to go up and up and up, right?
And use the ones from the credit score agent, from the credit card agency, because
what's there, 3 agencies?
No, the credit card company.
Oh, okay.
When you get your credit card, because if that continues going up, chances are your FICO score is going up.
And you're doing something
so
right.
You're moving in the right direction.
Every time you pay down a car loan, or even make a monthly payment to your car loan, do they readjust your?
No, it's car loans are good because they're installment.
Yeah.
So anything to do with installment is good for you as long as you pay them on time.
Yeah.
Right? But it's good because it's good credit.
Well, it shows you're
responsible.
Yeah.
The ones that matter the most, the credit cards.
Okay, so when you pay off your balances.
When I look at a credit report and all of a sudden they say, well, I need to, we need to get you up like 20, 25 points. Usually it's you attack the credit cards.
Okay.
If you can attack the credit cards,
we're talking to someone before that about a credit card. Is it based on how much of your maximum you're using?
Percentage.
Okay, so if you're using over 50%.
Yeah, it's close to zero as you can get is how you get your higher.
But does it actually change if if you have a $10,000 limit and you had $5,000, but jump it up to $5,500?
It's going to change.
Yeah,
it's going to change.
If you go down to $4,500, if you go down to $2,500, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
All right, depending on how.
Well, they were making it sound like after that 50% mark.
No,
it's not.
It keeps working.
But now the way we're talking is, I feel like you could fix your FICO in 6 months if you, or 3 months,
depending on what they
right?
have for cash, right?
Right.
I mean, a lot of people come in and, we have programs out there that can go in with no money down.
Right. But if you sent me away and said, Kathy, you know what, you need to add 25
right, so that's a good point. What would you tell Kathy?
I want to buy a house in June, and it's the end of January. What would you tell me?
Credit cards.
Okay, so
So what would you tell them about the credit
throw
cards?
Bring
any
it down,
disposable
to under,
income.
yeah, and bring it down.
But
under
you don't want to
10%.
pay them off and close them out.
No, don't close them out.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, yep.
It's called revolving debt. So if you can bring it down to zero, bring it down to zero.
But throw
and-
as much of my disposable income for 3 months
Right.
to that, so that I would be prepared to
Yeah,
buy
and
a
the
house.
question I always
Good point. Quick
say,
question: is it 3 months or what's your look back period?
there's no look back.
No, there's no
on
look-
credit cards. On credit cards, there aren't any.
Okay.
So credit cards, you get
whatever it
credit.
is as of
you
that
get
date.
credit for when you pull that credit report. That's what you get.
When
credit for,
the
whatever's on
balance that
card.
shows
On that
rolls
card at that
into
point in
that
time.
FICO
Correct.
score.
Correct.
We'll
Okay.
jump back to that. How about large deposits in taking money out? What's your look back on that? If someone puts in
2 months.
2 months.
That's for a mortgage. That's a
no,
different.
that's
Yeah,
what
to
we're
look
talking about.
back
That's
as
what we're
far
talking
as
about.
depositing
But
large
if we're
sums
talking
of
about if
money.
someone's coming in for their mortgage.
Why are
We
you
go back-
depositing a large amount of money?
No, don't worry about that. We're safe there. So, all right. So there'll be a look back on that for the last 2 months.
So if my
That's too
mother
much,
gave
yeah.
me $50,000,
We'd have to vet it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all. We'd have to
Right.
vet it unless she pulled it from the mattress.
well, what
then
if
you're
she
gonna
got
have to
it
wait
right
for it. You have
for
to wait
2 months? Okay,
All right.
for it to clear.
well, that's
Why?
not bad.
Why? What do you got?
I don't know. I got
Poor
nothing.
Sil.
I got nothing.
Still know you're giving 50,000.
Yeah.
All right. So, and the credit cards will be that day. So you're going to get those down as close as possible to zero.
Yeah, and credit cards report at statement close date.
Okay.
So a lot of people think that I'll pay it off tomorrow. And the
that's
next
what
day
I was-
my credit
Oh, yeah,
score-
yeah, yeah.
No.
And if you pay it off tomorrow, there's going to be a small amount of interest.
Right.
They don't understand why they just got another bill for $25 or
Right.
whatever
But
it is.
they won't report the paid down balance until your next statement.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
All right.
Yeah.
Because people will say, I pay it off every month, but you're using it during the month.
Right.
So
right.
you could be paying off $5,000 or $10,000 credit card every
Yeah.
month, but you're putting $5,000. So every time they report a $5,000 balance. on the
Right.
credit card.
Right.
So you're 50%.
All right. So Kathy's pulling in. She wants a mortgage from you. All right. So
Well, I have one more thought.
we have a million thoughts.
Just
Well,
one more
that's good.
thought.
All right,
And then-
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, I always win.
I saw that attorney yesterday. I'm not.
I'm
yeah.
not. You're not.
You better move over. So a lot of people, like when they're refinancing, like they don't make their February 1st mortgage payment because they're going to be refinancing, but it ends up not getting paid till, paid off because they have a rescission, a right to rescind. So say the 16th day or 17th day of February, so you get a late charge. And what is it a late
But you're
charge?
not technically late yet because there's a 30-day late payment.
Okay, so I was going to ask you the difference. So on the 16th or 17th, you're
Can I
going to get
jump in for a second?
Hey, no,
because it is technically late.
it's late. So
It
you're
is
going to
late.
get the
It's
fee.
late.
After the first day,
Yeah.
Well,
it's late.
it says a due date. It says
Due date
pay this amount of money
on
by
February
such and such a
1st.
date.
If you send it on May 2nd, it's late.
Well, it's
So
But
you
it's
have
not
just so
30.
people
it's
know,
not
so
30
people
days
know.
late. It's not
Right.
30 days.
So you're not.
So there's three different things. The first of the month is typically your due date.
Yeah.
That's your due date. The bank gives you a 15-day grace period to make your mortgage payment.
Correct.
On the 16th day, if they haven't received it, they're going to assess you a 3% late charge.
Right.
So you are going to pay that late charge.
Correct.
So that's not that big of a deal if you don't mind eating $59 or
And
whatever it is.
they'll usually give it back to you anyway.
So, but what I was trying to get at is a 30-day late means you didn't pay it on the 16th, you didn't pay it all the way up, and you
didn't pay
paid
it
it
30
on
days after the due date.
due date. But the due date is the 1st, February 1st. So on March 1st, they're going to charge you. They're going to ding your credit, right?
Right.
And
Big time.
It's not a little. It's not
you
a
got
little.
a mortgage. You got a mortgage late. Forget about it.
Okay, so that's what I guess my long way around. If you don't make your mortgage payment, it's just trashing your credit.
Right. Now we can, it's going to trash your score. And then again, it really depends on the depth of your file. A lot of young kids will come in. They don't have a real deep file.
Yeah.
They got a couple credit cards. They may have a car loan. They have, if they lucky enough to own a house and look an upgrade, they may only have those 4 items.
Right.
Well, you get a late payment on that mortgage, and you don't have a lot of positive to combat it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we probably have deeper credit files.
Yeah.
So if we get a late mortgage payment, we're not going to get hit by as many points as what somebody with a skinny mortgage.
So if someone gets hit now with a late payment, it's a little different than if they 4 years ago missed the mortgage payment because you have all those 4 years to show It was a mistake.
Right.
It's explainable.
Right.
Okay. So
Usually-
can you
usually it's
talk
a
them
year.
away, or can you write them away? Can you
Is there an
call
explanation?
Can you
I
call
do
the
that.
credit company and say,
No.
you know what, my husband was hospitalized, and
Oh yeah.
okay, so and
Yeah.
then will that take the ding off?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, well, I'll tell you that, and I won't disclose any names, but one guy was divorced, and in the divorce decree it said his wife was supposed to be responsible for mortgage payments.
Even though his name is on it.
Exactly. Even though they're both on it. All
Yep.
right. But he's got them taken off.
That's good.
He called them. It's been 3 years. And I looked at the credit report. I said, hey, you got looking really good except this one mortgage. What the hell's going on? And he said,
He could explain it away.
Explained the whole thing. And then he actually called the lender. And the lender said, okay, show us the docs. He showed him the docs. And he said, okay, we'll take it off. Now, that's in my old days of credit repair, that's something that I never saw. In other words, just because the judge said that she's responsible does not negate your responsibility on that debt. But this company's willing to take it off.
Interesting.
And I've seen that happen a bunch of times.
So when the company takes it off, so you're dealing with the lender directly, they take it off. How does that get conveyed to the credit bureau?
They do.
They say that we're waiving all these late charges.
And they'll just take it off and said it wasn't his.
Okay.
So would this also help? Because we used to always talk about this, where if you're about to co-sign for your kid who's about to get whatever, and then the kid's not paying it, can you explain that a little bit away? You can't.
No, because you're going to be the primary on that. They're giving him or her the loan
based on you.
Based on you.
Okay.
How about if it's like a?
Have you been co-signing loans?
I have a friend of mine.
I hope not.
How do you think Tony's been in Aruba for 3 weeks? All right. How about this, where a lot of parents co-sign the tenant, the kids who are going to take on a tenancy.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they're not paying the tenant, or the landlord tenant. There's an issue they're battling. That will show up.
Well,
How does that work?
It could. It may not, depending on if the landlord uses. Most landlords don't report to credit reporting agencies.
Okay.
All right, because there is a
They just evict them or try to.
Yeah, well, there's a two-sided coin, because if they report the bad, they have to report the good.
Right.
So what they'll do is they usually contract with a collection company. Now, the collection company can put that on a credit report, but a lot of landlords don't get a collection company to collect it. You know, they'd rather get it just get it released and get it going, right?
Right.
But if it gets to be a large amount, or if they go to court and stuff like that, then all of a sudden you have a court judgment against you, and yada yada yada.
And so that hits your credit. Okay,
yeah, that hurts your credit. Yeah.
So the judgment, to Kathy's point, how does that get now onto those credit reports?
There's a separate section that says judgments, civil judgments.
How about this? If someone has a short sale or foreclosure in the last few years, when do you think they'd be able to get a new mortgage?
FHA, you can do 2 years. I can take an application 2 years after the event closes.
Yeah,
like a short sale closing tomorrow. 2 years from now, they can go and apply for a new mortgage.
Right. Now we do have other ones that if they can show the ability to repay. All right, we have non-qualified mortgages, which means that you're going to pay a little bit more in the interest, but they're a little bit more forgiving when they look at what you've been through, as long as you have a good story.
All right, so you
always have to have a good story, right?
Well, it's got to make sense, right? I mean,
right. And then if you have you have something bad that happened in your life that caused all these things, but you guys can look, you and anybody underwriting can look at somebody's credit history, and they can tell almost exactly what's going on.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we are. I mean, in today's world, because of what happened in 2008, all right, it's by the book.
Right.
Now there are little things that you can do within that book to help the person, but everything's really by the book.
Right.
That's why I use, if there's someone that comes to me that has a 13 or a 7 or a foreclosure or something like that, we can go non-qualified mortgage with them.
Which one's worse?
As far as they're all the same.
13 and 7 same?
They're all the same. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How about
they're
this?
all major derogatories.
All right, so maybe we should...
Major derogatory.
Yeah.
A foreclosure is a major derogatory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Short sale?
Oh, yeah, there's no venial sins.
Yeah. So here's a question on foreclosures. Maybe we could talk to people about this, because this comes up more often than you think. So someone thinks they got foreclosed on in 2010.
It didn't.
And it didn't. Now it's 2020. They're trying to get a loan, said Well, I got foreclosed in 2010. No, because some banks might not put that. What's the point that you measure it from? So some banks, I guess my point is, some banks do not put the final foreclosure deed on for years later. And a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
So they got foreclosed supposedly in 2010. They moved out in 2010, and we've seen this. They don't put the foreclosure deed on until 2017.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a few times. So
Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do.
right. So I guess our point is, if you've had a foreclosure done, you might want to call a real estate attorney to see when was finalized.
Make sure it's filed.
Because
yeah.
just because they put a notice on that you're about to get foreclosed on.
Well, most people don't understand foreclosure. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some people say, "Oh no, they stopped my foreclosure, and I'm going to live here for the rest of my life."
Oh yeah, we get those a lot.
We've had that several times.
And people get upset. They put in wood.
Yeah, they put an addition on. And
they
put
got
a
rid of the
pool in
carpet.
the back,
They put in flooring in the whole place, and they were upset. They were getting kicked out of their house.
And the sheriff shows up at the door and says,
yeah.
You guys are out. And she's
What do
like,
you
I don't know
mean?
what you're talking about. The bank was going to foreclose, but they changed their mind. And they hadn't made a mortgage payment in since 2010 or whatever
Right.
it was.
And we're not exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
No,
You can't kick me out. I'm having a baby.
Right.
The sheriff is like, I don't care. I don't care. Get out.
Here's another one that always intrigues me, and I know we talked about it a little bit last time. But if someone comes to you, they want you, and you looked into their credit, and you said, we've seen this a couple times. There's a $22 bill from AT&T. Oh, there's a second $22 bill from AT&T. They must be the same bill. So what they do is they argue that second $22 because it's clearly the same bill. But once you have a dispute on something on your credit, it seems to wreak havoc in the process.
Well, an inquiry, right?
The reason
dispute.
why a dispute now, there's three different levels of disputes.
Okay.
There's the initial, the secondary, and the tertiary. Okay, so if you dispute three times, all right. The original dispute affects your FICO score.
Okay.
It pulls the.
Why does it affect your?
It pulls it out of because you're disputing it as if it's not true.
Yeah.
So FICO gives
But
you
what
a
does
break.
$22 do?
$22 on a late payment is just as bad as $1,000
This
late
actually
payment.
wasn't even a late payment.
It was like
they
a
got billed
stupid
twice.
phone bill.
They got billed twice.
Okay.
And they said, I only have the one phone line. You're sending me the second bill. I'm disputing the second $22 bill.
Okay.
And it just wreaked havoc on their credit.
Yeah,
So
as soon as the
It
word
was almost
dispute,
like they stopped. Right. They
as soon as
stopped.
the word dispute goes on, you have to clear that dispute before.
And that's not a
you
quick
can-
process, right?
3 to 5
and
days.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
It's because they can't no longer use that particular agency, that reporting, right? Because you have it in dispute.
Right.
Almost shuts it down.
Right.
Right.
Now you can, So what would happen is that once you know it's been cleared, okay, once they say we're going to take it off, you can have.
But that may be months later.
No, 3 to 5 days.
Well, we know the situation we had was for some reason, they almost like they froze his credit
Right.
score or something. We don't know all the
Yeah.
details enough to.
But it derailed it.
It derailed the whole
well, it
closing.
used to be back in the early days of credit repair. It used to be a ploy where
Right,
you
right.
would
Right.
dispute everything,
Right.
Right.
and it would take it out of the scoring mechanism. The scores would go up, and no one was the wiser for it.
Right.
Oh,
So all of a
So
sudden you're at
correct-
750,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Ooh, look
Well,
at me!"
correct me if I'm wrong.
that's smart.
There was a lot of credit repair companies. What they did related to that is said, all right, what you do is dispute it, put it in the letter. It doesn't even have to be in the letter. But suppose if they didn't respond within 30 days, then you could go to the agency. Listen, I disputed this. They didn't take care of it. I want it off.
In the old days, that would work. Not today.
It wouldn't
Right.
work today.
Not today. No, they're because of credit repair and so many credit repair companies sending them information. They've really finely tuned their communications.
'Cause I
with
always thought that was kind of unfair. They did owe it. But
Right.
they were sending in letters, and the companies just weren't getting back in time,
Right,
the 30
right.
days.
Right,
So it was kind of
right.
a scam, to be
Right,
honest,
So-
to promote that.
What
well,
if-
it's part of the CFPB. I mean,
Right,
if
right.
you don't get back in 30 days,
Right.
you have to remove from the
Right,
credit
right,
report.
right, exactly.
So what if I want to buy furniture and I'm going to do their credit or whatnot? They going to check my credit, right? They're going to inquire about my credit or whatnot.
Just tell them of the furniture company with mine. I got like a Well, this
that's different. Then you're going to derail this. Hang
Go
on.
ahead.
So they're going to do an inquiry on my credit.
Right.
What does that really do to my credit?
Depends again how deep your credit file is.
Well, it's
right.
deep because I'm
All right,
old.
so you're gonna have nothing. I wouldn't say you're old.
I'm kind of old.
You know, growing
It's all
old.
relative.
You don't want to know how deep her file is.
Well, it's not going to hurt you that much. Now, that being said, let's say you have an 800 credit score.
Yeah.
It could hurt you 20 points.
It could?
Yeah,
Really?
but it doesn't affect anything. I mean, going from 800 to 780 is nothing.
Right,
all
unless
if
you're Ed Sullivan, and it
Right.
would really deeply upset you.
No,
See?
his is just a personal challenge. He doesn't want to be below his 850.
Yeah.
That's why.
So
850 versus
when
830.
so what if I went to that furniture company, they did my credit, and then I decided I didn't want to buy the couch there? It's still going to ding my credit. How long will it take to recover from
1 year.
that?
1 year?
Yeah, 1 year. It hurts you. It hurts your credit score for 1 year. After that, it stays on your report for 2, but FICO only counts it for 1 year.
Wow.
How about if you apply to 2 or 3 different mortgage companies?
That'll kill you.
Really?
Yeah. When you do it,
Are you just saying
mortgages.
that?
No, time
quick answer.
out. No, I'm wrong.
Oh,
Mortgages,
phew.
automobiles, and education debt.
Yeah.
Anything pulled within a 45-day
That's similar,
window,
isn't it?
similar. It's a
Right.
similar class.
Correct.
Is counted as one
Okay,
inquiry.
that's what I thought. All right.
The first inquiry affects your score 30 days after it's pulled.
Okay.
For
So-
like 20 points?
Well, whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever you get whacked on
Right.
for a thing. But from that point forward, the 45 days is a window that it only all those
Oh,
only
I
count as
see.
one inquiry.
Okay.
So I guess my takeaway would be that if I had a credit card that had a big balance, I would just charge it on my credit card and pay it off, as opposed to having somebody pull my credit at a furniture store.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that, but I don't know. It's 6 of these, half dozen of those.
Right.
I don't think. I think inquiries are only 10% of your credit score.
Okay.
So I think people put way too much weight on
Too much
inquiries.
emphasis.
Okay.
You know, if you did 5 credit card inquiries, all right, well, FICO knows you're looking for money for some reason, right?
Right.
You get denied.
Well,
so
and then you
guess
look
what?
and you look
Guess what?
desperate.
Yeah, score's going right down.
All right, So
Okay.
we're almost done. So I guess our original theory was a borrower should really look into their credit beforehand. But so I guess
All right, well, I'm going to give them one site to go to.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them money,
Yeah.
all right?
How
But
much?
it's a good site. It's
go FICO yourself.
39. No, go FICO. I still want that
Go
one.
FICO yourself.
It's going to cost you $39. It's
Okay.
called myfico.com.
myfico.com.
Now, myfico.com is going to give you your automobile score. It's going to give you a mortgage score. It gives you the exact scores that I get on my report.
Okay.
And it's a consumer site, so it doesn't
Is it
hurt
a
your credit score.
one shot deal?
No, it's $39.95 a month, but you can cancel it after you download your first report. Okay, now FICO's got you by the short hairs anyway, so what they do is they charge you $39.90 because
That's a legal term.
yeah, right here.
$39.99.
They
So you
get
can just cancel it
$39.99, so
after
you can just
pull
cancel
it.
you want, or you can keep it going. And you only get one report a year. So anytime you want to refresh that report, it costs you $39.99 too.
But it'll show you all the dings you have
It
on
shows you
there.
all the dings. It shows you everything. It's a
Okay.
really detailed report. But
All right,
the
that's
thing I
good to
like
know.
about it is that their mortgage scores, they give you all 3 credit bureaus, mirror exactly what I'm going to get on my mortgage
Oh, really?
report.
Okay.
So I've had people that have been working on their credit. I said, okay, go to my FICO. Let's pull one. Let's
Yeah.
see what it's like. Bang. Okay, we
Well,
got a middle
it'll-
score of 726. I hit the report. Bang, mid score.
We'll
726.
elaborate why yours is 726.
Yeah,
It
it
will.
gives you. Oh, it's
You're going to
So-
do this,
that
this, and this.
report's like 100 pages long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think I did that when I was nervous about some sort of identity
Okay.
theft.
Yeah.
So we only have 1 second left.
Okay.
But I wanted to, do you have any really, really, really good tips about how to protect your financial identity?
Just keep abreast of what's going on. Most of the credit cards today just let you know immediately when something happens. And unfortunately, they're the people who steal your identity. They're always 3 steps ahead.
Okay.
They're always 3 steps ahead. But the financial institutions are moving as fast as they can to make sure it doesn't happen. to
And
a
you
lot
should
of
check
people.
your
Check your credit
accounts.
score. You should check your credit score. You can go to free credit score. Freecreditreport.com.
Yep.
And you can pull each bureau like every 4 months if you want, Because
Yeah.
you get a free one once a year from H Bureau.
And you could just check
And
in
just
and
check
see
and
what
see.
Well, that's a good
revolving
point.
credit you
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so just be diligent when who you give your social
Well,
security
you're right.
number
Credit
out
card
to.
companies call you if they
Yeah,
see
they
something.
do. They do a good job, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, just don't be stupid about it.
online purchases use a credit card. Do not use a debit card
Online. That's a good tip for the end
because
of the day. Online purchases.
What's the difference?
well, because if they get you quit debit card, they can drain your whole account.
Right,
And
but
then they
then
drain the account, and all of a sudden the money's not there for your automatic payments, and you end up getting late on automatic payments.
okay, all right,
So-
that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I gotta fix
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work ahead of us.
See that?
We thought we were just going to fool around today.
Everybody here at the studio is like, oh my god,
know,
like these guys are actually working.
I've seen a lot of people today with just drop
boring,
jobs.
boring.
Yeah.
Man.
No, that's awesome information, Kim.
No
Thanks,
Thanks
Kim.
for
Yeah,
joining
anytime.
us.
Anytime.
All right.
If
Appreciate your
anybody
help.
needs any help, give me a call.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You want to do your number real quick?
978-886-7805.
We don't
Mortgage broker.
Mortgage loan officer.
Oh, I'm sorry, loan officer. sorry.
With
He'll give us,
CrossCountry Mortgage.
call him. He'll give you his ID
I can do a
number.
review of your credit report too, so don't worry about it.
Oh, there you
awesome.
go. Thanks for joining us in Real Estate House Body. Kim Carpentier, Kathy Holtshouser, Paralegal Extraordinaire. And next week, we might have Tony V back
Woo.
if he'll grace us with his appearances.
Yep.
Right.
Hey,
Thanks
you
for joining
can't
us.
park there.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.